Boom. Testing, 1, 2. Testing. Guys, do me a favor, just jump on here real quick, and if you can circle the wagons around this issue. My voice is getting better. It is. As many of you know, well, some of you know, I've been battling the flu the last few days. That's a tongue twister. Lots of F's in there. I've been battling the flu the last few days, and I'm very happy to report that I'm now on the other side of it. It's not as bad as it was a few days ago. I've been taking medication called for flu. I think it's called for flu, and it's helped me quite a bit. Do me a favor, guy. Hey, Bo, thank you so much for being with me. Do me a favor, guys, and Bo, loud and clear. I love to hear that. Thank you for saying that. That is music to my ears. If you could do me the honor, spread this live broadcast, if you can sort of spring it around and sling it and sort of piggyback on it and share it with people that you think would be interested in this conversation. And let's sit down and come to a table where we can exchange thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Now, before I get into my dissertation, I just wanted to sort of share with you today. This morning, I woke up. This is my routine, for those of you that care to know. I'm now at a stage in my life, both my wife and I, we go to bed at 9, not 21 hours, we are out like lights. I get amused when I hear people that go out for parties or dinners and they're out late, and I'm thinking, what are you doing out so late? You know, because 21 hours, we are out, we're gone, mate. And I usually sleep throughout the night. I have a routine, it's just an internal clock. I wake up at about 5:30. I've been doing that for years. And I don't even have to set an alarm. I just wake up, you know. But last night, I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't go back to sleep. I was just worried sick about the situation here in the CBD and the attitude of the members of this community. That's a generator going off outside. We're not using a generator, we're using solar. And incidentally, the solar that we're using is from a company called Kaniki. Can you guys hear that rumbling generator? Isn't that amazing? Isn't that too loud? I think that's too loud. You know, you would think that they would turn the volume down. Anyway, so I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was just, you know, I don't want to call it a panic attack, but it just dawned on me that I've been fighting a battle for 25 years. I've been trying to galvanize my community to rally behind this idea that we can live in a cohesive, clean environment. I've been trying to convince my neighbor, Baba, an Indian Zambian, who's a great guy, but just totally devoid of being involved in community work. I've been trying to engage Peter Castle, the guy that owns the building after Baba. He's a white Zambian guy who never comes here. All he ever, I think he's in England. I'm not even sure if Peter Castle's still alive. You know, he just collects rent. He never comes to this part of the, this community. I've been trying to engage the rest of the Lebanese and the Chinese guys that own property on the street to sort of galvanize and foster this idea that we should work together as a community. None of them ever get on board. None of them. So, I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning. I hate to say it, but I started kind of sort of feeling sorry for myself. I know that sounds pathetic, but that's what I was feeling. I was thinking, nobody cares. You're a lone wolf in the wilderness, and when you're crying, it's like you're John the Baptist. You're out there by yourself trying to proselytize the community about cleanliness and hygiene and personal. Oh no, nobody cares. In fact, they rally against you for it. I mean, I'll give you an example. There's Young Feroz. Young Feroz rents a space from Peter Castle. So I have two ladies that sweep the entire street. And what I've sort of communicated to the business houses, I've said, look, when my sweepers sweep in front of your building, the garbage that is swept, the litter that is swept, that is collected from in front of your building has to go to your back alley. So my sweepers swept in front of Young Feroz, and they proceeded to throw the garbage in one of the bins near the Young Feroz store. The manager of Young Feroz says, where are you taking that garbage? So my sweeper said, well, our boss said that anything that's swept directly in front of your building, technically it's your garbage. We're just cleaning it for you. You're not paying us to clean it. Mr. Mwewa pays us, but because it's your garbage, it belongs in your bin. Oh my goodness, wouldn't you know, the manager just totally refused. He says, no, don't throw it here. Then just throw it back onto the street. So the ladies came to tell me. I said, oh, this guy refused. So I went over there, and in a huff, I walked over there, because it's just down the road from here. I said to the guy, I said, hey man, what gives? Your garbage goes to your bin. No, you're going to have to talk to my boss about that. He says, there's nothing to talk about. I've already told your boss. If it's swept and collected from your frontage, it belongs in your bin. Oh no, this guy simply wouldn't have it. He says, if you throw it in my bin, I'm going to throw it on the street. Do you see the type of people I have to deal with? We are surrounded by imbeciles. Imbeciles. So I had to go over his head to talk to his boss, who was a lady. I explained it to her. She understood it perfectly. In fact, she said, Mr. Mwewa, thank you. Thank you for being dedicated enough to even come as far as our street to sweep our stuff. Sure, tell them to tell the ladies that they can throw the garbage that they have swept from the frontage of our building, meaning their building, throw it in the bin right next to the door. I mean, it had to take an act of God, mate. It had to, that would be common sense, I would think. If somebody came to me and said, oh, Mr. Mwewa, we're sweeping the front of your building, and everything that we sweep in front of your building, we're going to have to throw in your bins. Oh, I'd be so happy. I'd say, hey, sure, go ahead. Have at it. Knock yourself out, Not in Zambia. In Zambia, everybody just wants to be a star, Anyway. So I was sort of musing over that and sort of worried about the future and what that means and all that. And I had to just be honest and say, look, I need help as a community. But you know what's really sad? Let me tell you what's really sad. What's sad is, if I decided right now, today, if I decided to grab a few bins full of garbage and I sprinkled them all over the street, do you know that not a single person would ever say anything to me? Do you know that? Think of that for a moment. If I just decided today, you know what, we're going to litter the whole street. Do you know that not a single person would say, why are you doing that? Not a single person in this community would say, I don't think that's cool. You're not doing the right thing there. Not a single person. But if I sweep, oh my goodness, all of hell breaks loose. Who do you think you are? It's not your job. That's not your job. That's council's job. Who are you? You're Mr. Big Shot Council? Is that what you are now? Huh? You work for the council now? That is the lip and attitude I get all day, every day. Yeah. So I'll say it again. We are surrounded by imbeciles. We are. All right. Guys, I'm at my office, by the way, here at Simoson Building. I'm about to go home. I wanted to share something with you that I think is important. Earlier today, I went to Belvedere Lodge to pass my condolences and to sign the condolence book for Balungu's funeral and passing. And I must say, when I got there, the ambiance at Belvedere was one of peace, tranquility, cohesiveness. Very different from the ambiance at the PF Secretariat. The PF Secretariat has a feeling of angst, confrontation, bitterness, anger, a feeling of retaliation, violence. There's a spirit of tribalism there, a spirit of violence there. And it's so bad at the PF Secretariat, for those of you that know the topography of the CBD, you know that, I mean, literally, Simoson building is a stone throw away from the PF Secretariat. It's just down the road here. But I never use that route because I wouldn't put it past the PF to stone my car. They would do it. They would do it in a heartbeat. All it takes is just one person to say, "Icho chitambalecho, ngachirikwi icho chaecho, alabule Antoine amabwetu chilase." Yeah, that's what I'd have to contend with, and so I never take that chance of driving down that road or going down that route, because I know that that's what they would do, because I know many of them, and I know many of them know me. But just to demonstrate to you how different the two venues are, you know, PF along Lumumba Road, all you feel is violence. Not that I've been there, but I see it on social media. And because I've been there before, I know that atmosphere. It's full of drunkards, young men that are high on PCP and methamphetamines and marijuana, ganja. You know, that's all they do. Not that I've ever smoked, okay? I'm just going by what I see on TV. That's, you know, apparently Snoop Dogg. I've seen Snoop Dogg do that. That's all the PF does, mate. Okay, so when you go there, it's a very hostile environment. Very different from Belvedere. Belvedere, the army was singing. It was beautiful to listen to the army sing, and they were singing these melodic songs of the afterlife and joy after this and life after death and all. It was quite it was lovely to be there, and you know, people were greeting one another. They were hugging each other, you know, speaking love to one another. Not at the PF Secretariat, you know. So anyway, I went there, I signed the book, you know, and while I was there, I learned that King's Malembe sort of walked off in a huff. Apparently, the government, and you know, this is the thing that I find strange about this administration, this UPND administration. Only UPND can hire a staunch PF supporter. This government hired sound equipment from King's Malembe, who is a self-confessed diehard PF supporter. I mean, this administration hired him to provide the sound system. The PF would have never done that. The PF would have never hired a staunch UPND anything. I mean, that's the difference, guys. You know, you have to really look at it from this point of view. And so King's, apparently, they hired his equipment for the sound system. And when the president came, this was yesterday, when the president went there to sign the book, King's thought that he would perform in front of the president. But the master of ceremony directed the army to sing and to sing. And apparently King got so upset, he sort of packed up his stuff and walked off in a huff. Can you believe this? I know that sounds a bit gossipy, but hey, that's what we do here sometimes, isn't it? We just gossip. It's true though. I'm not making this up. It really happened. I have it on very good authority that he packed his stuff and just walked off in a huff. He was upset that he wasn't allowed, not that he wasn't allowed, but the master of ceremony sort of said, look, let the army sing in front of the president. But he wanted to be the one to do that. And because he wasn't given that opportunity, he walked off in a bit of a huff. Oh, Simon, you're such a gossip. I know I am, shamelessly, innit? All right, guys, he's going to be so upset, but who cares? Love you, kings. All righty, Miles Sampa. You know who Miles Sampa is? Miles Sampa is a guy that represents the constituency of Matero. Okay, Matero constituency. And you remember Miles and John General, they tried to sue me for the remarks I made about them, those two jokers. They're thick as thieves, they are. They're a bunch of right sad bastards, those chaps are. Anyway, Miles and John General thought that they could sue me, and then the whole thing just fell apart. Miles doesn't have the dedication to carry things through. I've shared this with you. Miles Sampa is an idea a minute. He does 20,000 different things all at the same time and literally gets to nowhere. I mean, he doesn't have the dedication to follow through with something. He starts, stops. That's the story of his life. Anyway, so Miles was in Parliament the other day, not too long ago, and he sort of raised a question on the floor of the House. Have you seen this on social media? He got on there and he sort of posed a question to the Vice President and says, he stands up and he says, Madam Vice President, I want to know, are you going to honor the wishes of the late former and sixth President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, that the President Hakainde Hichilema should not be found anywhere near his body? The gall, the audacity, the unmitigated wit of Miles Sampa. You know, honestly, Miles Sampa is dumber than a box of hammers. Honestly, really. He chops my heart. He boils my blood. He just rubs me the wrong way. Boy, sometimes I look at him and I say, I ought to knock you one. All right. So, Miles asks this foolish, repugnant, repudiating question, bordering on utter childishness is what it is. And I'm one that I don't like that word, childish. But it is so befitting when discussing Miles. It really is. Miles says, are you going to honor the wishes of the former and sixth president that Hakainde Hichilema stays away from the board of where? We know good and hell well ECL never said that. And I keep telling you guys, anyone that quotes the president posthumously is lying. The truth is not in them, and they are full of the devil. Let me say that again. Anybody, I don't care who they are, anyone that says to you, no, before Balungu died, he actually intimated that he wanted me as his successor. Before Balungu died, he actually said to me that, ida benzi ya wakunganda and therefore he woke up okay. Before Balungu died, he actually said to me that anyone that quotes the former and late president posthumously is lying through their teeth, and the truth is not in them. They are the spawn of the devil. And you heard it here. So it's a lie. Balungu never said that. Balungu never said, I don't want HH near my body. Because we all know, and I keep telling you this, any doctor, any medical practitioner, any woman, any nurse that works in a hospice. You know what a hospice is? Do you know what a hospice is? Hospice, not hospital, hospice. Tell me in the comments. Stacey B, tell my audience what a hospice is, in case you don't know. A hospice. You know what a hospice is? A hospice. Go ahead, tell me in the comments. It's hospice. A hospice. I'll wait. Stacy's laughing. Stacy, tell him what a hospice is. A hospice is where people go to die. The people that are standing on death's door, they go to a hospice. Okay? People that are terminally ill. People that are standing on the precipice of death. People that know they're going to die any day, any moment. You know, that's a hospice. Anyone that works in a hospice will tell you that before people die, the last thing they talk about is grudges. They don't hold grudges. They're not even concerned about politics. The only thing they think about is their family. That's all. I've got my wife, my children are here with me. I'm about to cross over to the other side. By and by, when the morning comes. I love that song. All the saints of God are gathered home. We will tell the story how we overcame. We'll understand it better by and by. That's all you're thinking about. But these PF jokers have tried to convince you that Edgar Lungu had the death rattle in his throat and he was saying, I don't want HH near my body. I don't want H. Oh, Wofi, Edgar Lungu was not like that. He was not like that. Even though we may have differed politically, I can tell you Edgar Lungu was not like that. He wasn't. I don't want HH near my body when I die. Wofi, Boza. So the vice president stood up after Miles asked this foolish question. Because in fact, it was so foolish that it coming from a member of parliament who prides himself in representing the people of that Matero is both shocking and humiliating. So the vice president said, and I love her response. I mean, she gave a detailed response. And let me for a moment, VP Nalumango, if you're watching this, Mami, you made me proud today. When you listen to the way the vice president responded, that's why some of us, we can't be vice presidents. But if you talk level of class, a level of level-headedness. Some of us, if we are street people, for Ram Street, but the vice president, and I want to take this moment to say to you, Madam Vice President, thank you for being magnanimous. That's the word. Thank you, to echo HH, thank you for being such a classy, level-headed woman. Not only that, a mother. Thank you for being a mother. Because she said, the fact that we differed politically with Edgar Lungu doesn't mean that we wanted him dead. Neither are we happy to see him gone. Ooh! Boy, I tell you, when she said that, boy, I tell you, I could feel the hair on the back of my head stood up. My heart began to palpitate, boy. I said, Lord, give us women. I mean, talk about a virtuous woman. I said, Lord, give us more women like this here. Give us more women, more Zambian women that will articulate issues in this way, with pathos, with grace, with stamina. Did you see that? Man, that just made me proud. I have to say it again. VP Nalumango said, the fact that we differed politically with Balungu doesn't mean that we wanted him dead. Neither does it mean we are happy to see him gone. Can Mao's Sampa talk like that? Mao's Sampa does not have the tools in his toolbox to even talk and to be as eloquent as the VP. He doesn't. And let me also very quickly mention that regardless of all the machinations, the former president's body will be here very soon. And we are going to bury him. And there will be closure. If the process takes too long, the Zambian people are going to begin to experience grief fatigue. Do you know grief fatigue? Grief fatigue. You know that's a thing. Okay? Did you know that? Have you ever heard this? Grief fatigue. There's nobody here. I'm just doing this for aesthetics purposes. Grief fatigue means we get to a point where tuanako kulosha. That's why the act of depositing a deceased loved one in the ground is important. Why? Because it's part of healing and closure. That's the reason the process is called laying them to rest, to an end, to a conclusion, to open doors to healing. As long as Balungu is not deposited in the ground, from dust we came and to dust we shall return. As long as Balungu doesn't become the embodiment of that adage, for the family, there will be no rest. For you and me, we'll move on because that's how life is. Balungu is not the first president to have died. First former president to have died. All of them have passed away. But we're still here. The time is coming for us also to pass away. And when we go, we'll go. Let me close with this. Many years ago, many of you know I was a student in the States, and I know when I say that, mwewa, you just want to tell us that you are in America. Why can't you just tell the story? You need context, okay? Relax, we got there. So I visited Kentucky, Louisville, you know where Muhammad Ali came from? And we were walking through this grave with a friend of mine, and we came across this tombstone. And this inscription I read, and when I read it, it made my heart palpitate because I resonated with it so closely. And it's the human experience. And the inscription on the tombstone read, and I memorized this because it stuck with me. It said this, it said, "Remember, my friend, as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. And as you are," no, I knew I was going to mess it up. Let me start again. "Remember, my friend, as you pass by. As I am now," no. And this is live on Facebook. I'll get it right. Just give me a moment. "Remember, my friend, as you pass by. As you are now, so once was I. And as I am, so shall you be. So be prepared to follow me." All of us are going that route. All of us are going to walk through that door, whether we like it or not. We're going to cross over to the other side. Pafwa bantu, bashara bantu. All right. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.